Welcome back to Perdido Key Gaming. Got a thing in the mail from an online order. Thing meaning a package. And this is the first of a couple of Fantasy Flight card, LCGs, card games. It's if you've ever played Call of Cthulhu or any of those, there's a couple of games on that from back in the day as well. This one in particular is from 2016. Typical, adventure card game. Unlike Magic the Gathering, which is kind of more of a, head-to-head type game. As usual with these, the bad guys are, automated as it were. They're driven by the rules. While the players, I don't know, let's see, it doesn't say on here, but I imagine, 1 to 2 players. I believe since it is an LCG that there are expansions for it. I didn't check with that. I just, went in my queue and get a couple of games, because I just got them, they of course have not been played. Keyforge, what a surprise. Read through the rules on this one. That's why I kind of got these 3 that I got in the mail kind of split up, because the rules for Arkham Horror are different from the rules for the next 2 that I got. But you got to set up the game. It's campaign/scenario driven. You play characters who have assets, skills, and things like that. They go up against events and stuff. And as usual with living card games like this, your character is basically your character, and it gains the skills and stuff over a campaign and things like that. And the one difference with Arkham Horror, of course, is that your characters definitely can get weaker by going insane and things like that, and becoming totally useless, or useless in only a couple of situations. But your players start out with decks, and they have a lot of equipment and things like that. Equipment, assets, skills, and things like that, all of which are used during a scenario to defeat the horrors within. As usual, each scenario is set up with a location with its applicable encounter decks. In this case, an act deck and agendas and things like that. You got your tokens, you got your resources, and you use those to, investigate the location in the scenario. And as usual with these types of Fantasy Flight games, each scenario has different locations that you travel from one place to another to defeat the enemy, or at least find out what's going on with the enemy. Since you are investigators, that's kind of what you're trying to do, just trying to figure out what's going on. The enemy is out to get you, of course, and you have to use various skills and assets and training and weapons and things like that to evade the enemy and fight the enemy or possibly even move. So, but the phases are, the phases go pretty quick. It looks like, anyway. I haven't played the game, so I really couldn't tell you. But as usual with these kind of games, it's pretty cool, because all you need to do to create another campaign or get another scenario or something is just go online and buy another deck. You don't have to use, as you can see, you can customize your deck. If you feel like weapons are of greater use, you can fully outfit your character with more weapons, for example. You don't have to stick to, it's probably not a good idea, but But, once you use that card, it kind of goes away. So you can only use, see, you got 2 knives. He's got a 45, 38 special, dynamite, things like that. So obviously when you use up that one asset or piece of equipment or something like that, that's it for that particular scenario, I believe. So anyway, but it seems like it'd be kind of a cool game to play, much like all the other LCGs, living card games. In this particular one, it's more of an adventure one, unlike Legend of the Five Rings, or which was more of a kind of a war game type thing. Definitely unlike Magic the Gathering, it's a trading card game. But in this case, it's more of an adventure thing like the Lord of the Rings game that we saw. But definitely looking forward to playing this, although I think, I'd probably like to just go ahead and play it as, by myself, using 2 characters just to get an idea of what the game is like before I try to get anybody else to, involved trying to play it. Figure out the rules first, basically. So, but yeah, here you see, you got your decks. Got your, card. These are the mini cards that you use during the scenario. What do we got here? Okay, it's nothing but decoration. And of course, a whole stack of counters that you probably need to punch out and find a place to stow them when you're not using them. Probably little sandwich bags might work. Let's see what else we got here. Let's move this over there. And for the, basically, with a lot of these fantasy flight games, they have a guide to the campaign, which, obviously the campaign is made up of scenarios. The scenarios are made up of locations with associated event cards and monsters and things like that. But there you go. In this case, it looks like, a total of 3 scenarios in here in this particular campaign, Night of the Zealot. Then you got a learn to play guide, which basically lays it out so that you can get going pretty fast. Shows you how to play, set up the game, play, and things like that, as we've seen. And then you have a rules reference, which amplifies the terminology that you see in the Learn to Play guide. So it's more in depth, in other words. So any of these things are it's pretty nice when they lay it out kind of in a tutorial format, and then that way you can just go dive into the rules later on, If it becomes a question, you look at the rules. That's pretty handy. But yeah, that's about it for today's Perdido Key Gaming. If you like what you see, please hit like and subscribe. Definitely, if you're into these kind of games, go out and get yourself one. If you've got, this is only 1 to 2 players, but I'm sure there are the expansions out there that add more players and things like that. I mean, you could probably set something up where you play 4 players just to make it easy on yourself, but, Anyway, that's all I got for today. Hit like and subscribe, please. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll catch you on the flip side.